Fire season is officially in the rearview for me. The boots are scraped, the gear's packed back up, and the Starlink is back in standby mode. But the mission never stops. I'm back in the real world, my law enforcement world, and this next chapter kicks off with a trip to Texas. There's no flames here. Well, hopefully not anyway. But this time it's for a training conference. And while we're down here, I figured I would tap into Texas's EmComm scene, digging into how they handle chaos, comms, and coordination across one of the most complex emergency landscapes in the country, from border ops to SAR missions handled across a very vast landscape. I'm going to make use of my downtime, scout out the tech and the tactics that are all used right here in the Lone Star State.
Open overhead from emergency aircraft out of the way have shifted in flight. You may now use your cell phone as we make our way to the gate. We will be arriving at gate C12. And if you have checked luggage, you will also retrieve that luggage at baggage claim C12. We know you have choice of airlines, so whether you're staying in Dallas, Texas, or passing through, we thank you for choosing American Airlines to be a part of your journey.
So ham radio in Texas is a mature, decentralized, and this is another mission-focused community that regularly supports all different aspects of emergency communications during hurricanes, floods, wildfires, mass power outages, and they're sometimes even needed just on localized incidents. The operators here fill gaps when commercial systems fail by providing resilient voice, data, and digital traffic services, interoperable links between agencies, and rapid situational awareness backhauls when internet and phone systems are degraded. The organizational structure supporting all of the emergency communications in Texas is really built on a coordinated network of roles and teams. At the top level, the ARRL Texas section and all of the local amateur radio clubs provide statewide coordination. They maintain training calendars and manage resource directories. The amateur radio emergency services, which is, APRS, those are still just like everywhere else in the country, just volunteer operators organized by county or region under the ARRL, and they offer communication support to agencies that are served by them and integrating with emergency management through designated liaisons. Complementing APRS, the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service, RACES, they're activated under civil authority during specific emergencies, with their operators being formally registered through local emergency management and following a very strict activation protocol. On the ground, the county and city level areas and RACES teams and clubs, they're operating nets that serve as the primary units for shelter operations, emergency operations centers, and mission critical traffic and field deployments. For your more large scale incidences, natural aid, networks spanning multiple counties and states, these are activated using HF, VHF, and UHF frequencies, often forming informal tactical teams to bolster response capabilities. Now, another really cool thing they have done here, at least in Hood County, is something that I've never heard of before, and that is the Ham Radio Damage Reporting Specialist, or DRS. So they play a vital role here in post-disaster intelligence gathering, especially when conventional communication systems are compromised. And here's how the program, again, from that 10,000-foot view really works. The DRS teams are composed of trained amateur radio operators who report critical field data after natural disasters, and they're really focused on roadway integrity, structural and hazardous damage, any sort of security concerns, and medical response needs. So these specialists operate under the direct supervision of the county sheriff or their designated emergency administrator. And this, really proves ensuring their reports feed directly into official response efforts. Now, how they operate, as far as their activation goes, the sheriff or duty officer initiates deployment by contacting the DRS team lead, and the team lead then assigns the nearest available DRS operators to the affected zones. As far as our communication goes, they're using basic ham radio modes, avoiding reliance on the fragile internet or cellular networks that are probably already compromised, and this ensures that resilient real-time situational awareness even when their infrastructure is down. So the DRS teams often work alongside your APRS members and your RACES members, which those are more of the statewide and national frameworks for emergency ham radio support. Now, during recent Texas flooding, the APRS volunteers were embedded with search and rescue teams. They were also out at the Red Cross shelters and up in the county emergency operations centers, passing health and welfare messages when the phone lines were overwhelmed. So, a lot going on there. Let me know in the comments section if you have ever heard of these type of DRS teams before, or if this is just a thing that is very specific to being down here in Texas. Either way, I think it's a really cool idea to have these guys implemented into these systems. So emergency communications rely on a diverse set of operational capabilities tailored to both local and regional needs. Short-range VHF, UHF repeaters, and simplex channels provide reliable tactical voice communications, directly enabling coordination between your operators, and that allows them linking to shelters or their EOCs. When infrastructure fails, your portable HF nets step in to handle the long-haul traffic. We know Texas is a huge, huge state. So that's supporting message delivery across the entire state or the regions that I mentioned, like up in Oregon. They implemented digital modes such as Winlink, Vera, Pactor, FL Digi, which allows for email over radio and structured message formats, which are essential for logistics, patient tracking, and official communications. You also have APRS and other position reporting tools that offer real-time asset tracking and situational awareness for mapping for field teams. Mesh and packet networks, including DMR, NXDN, and HSMM, they create localized data links for small file transfers and enhanced situational awareness, and this is particularly available in your urban or staging environments. Finally, in all of this is Skywarn and the spotter integration. We know that ensures live weather observations from trained amateur radio operators that are fed directly into the National Weather Service and local EOCs, enhancing that real-time decision-making during severe weather events, because Texas, they've had some really severe recent events, and they have shown a lot of them can be, directly related to some wild weather. Now, another really cool thing, integration of amateur radio teams into emergency management systems in Texas. This is guided by the alignment with the National Incident Management System, or if you are familiar, you probably heard it referred to as NIMS, NIMS, and the broader spectrum of the Incident Command System, or ICS, which is pretty commonplace among the actual APRS and RACES teams. These effective ham teams are embedded within the ICS structure, often assigned to the communications unit, service or logistics sections, or even serving as liaisons. The ham operators in these roles are expected to understand key roles such as net control, liaison, radio officer, and tactical operator. And there's should be, like they have here in Texas, some pre-established memorandums of understanding, or MOUs, with your county offices of emergency management. You also have your NGOs, like the Red Cross and hospitals. And these are defining the scope of the operation as far as the activation protocols, the legal boundaries, and reimbursement procedures, if there's going to be any. Interoperability with all of this is achieved through standardized phonetics, ICS message forms, and pre-planned talk groups and frequencies, which allows for that seamless coordination between volunteer operators and the professional responders. Now, here is one thing that I'm a huge advocate for, and that is credentialing is critical. Many counties here in Texas require pre-vetted access badges or escort programs to allow volunteers into EOCs and all the different shelters when they get set up, which in my opinion should be commonplace across the country. The activation patterns vary by the hazard type across Texas. For hurricanes and coastal flooding, amateur radio teams support pre-landfall operations with shelter communications, evacuation status updates, and HF backhaul for statewide message routing. After landfall, the repeater nets often collapse to simplex, while long-haul HF and Winlink systems manage the formal traffic. During wildfires, Tactical radio supports strike teams and staging areas, with APRS being used to track crew movements. During your severe storms and tornadoes, that triggers the Skywarn spotter nets, and they just are, feeding real-time data to the National Weather Service and local EOCs, along with rapid damage assessments. In winter storms, because yes, we've all seen that does happen here in Texas, and along with that, widespread power outages, the amateur radio provides vital communications for warning centers, infrastructure status checks, and coordination across multiple counties. So again, while the fire line fades into memory for this season and the boots cool off, the mission simply shifts terrain. Texas isn't just a backdrop for training. This is another proving ground for how decentralized resilience can thrive in chaos, from HF nets, going fully across counties and across the state, to the credentialed operators threading ICS structures with precision. This state's EmComm ecosystem is a masterclass in scalable, interoperable response. And, for me, this isn't just reconnaissance, it's recon with purpose. Every repeater, every net, every APRS ping is a breadcrumb in the larger story that I'm chasing now. How we build systems that don't just survive disaster, but outmaneuver it. The Lone Star State's got lessons, and I'm here to learn as much as I can, adapt, and bring them home. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. Be safe.